It is No Gifts, Please, the parenting podcast by the pair with no real gifts, but a whole lot of gumption. Hey, everyone, I'm Steve Noviello.
And hello there, I'm Jenny Anchondo.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited for my favorite topic as of late.
I mean, listen, we tried to get this person on during World Sleep Month, but I feel like sleep is an important topic. No matter, the two of us especially, we could always use more sleep.
I mean, always. we work in a sleep-deprived business. And
especially right now, man. I'm doing
You really are doing the quadruple duty right now.
Yes, I'm doing the morning show. I'm doing special coverage. I've got a new late night show. I'm doing this show with you.
I never don't see you on TV or podcasting or in person, which, by the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
On your new show debut.
Thank you. Yeah, it went great.
I mean,
it went great.
So exciting. And people are loving it. And I just feel like the whole look is very, dare I say, national.
Well, I mean,
national.
Let me tell you. I mean, I, got out the can of gay spray and I was like, listen, folks, here's what we're going to do.
Is that what it's called?
Pretty much. Okay. But enough about me. We have a great guest today for you. Go ahead and introduce.
Yes. Andrea Gordon. She is the owner and founder of child sleep consulting agency Have Baby Must Sleep, which I think is just such a brilliant title for a business because it's like direct and to the point. In terms of her background, she's a certified pediatric sleep consultant with an additional specialization in newborn sleep. She's helped more than 1,000 different families get sleep again, which hallelujah, she's doing the Lord's work over here. She also has 2 little boys, one of whom was diagnosed as being autistic. So she has just a special heart for helping families in that realm. She is a speaker, a presenter to parent groups, daycares, preschools. We roped her in.
And podcast guest.
To chatting with us. Hello, Andrea. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here with both of you.
I mean, I can't imagine that people are not constantly picking your brain about this topic.
I mean, all the time. I do a Q&A on Instagram and it's like 100 questions within 5 hours.
So what is there one, I want to know what is the question. And then I also want to know what's the question that people should be asking that they're not.
Okay. So the number one question I get is it too late to change my child's sleep? And I work with kids like 4 months all the way to 5.5 years old. So it really is never too late. That's the one that I get the most.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah. It's never too late. And the one that I get all the time generally is, will my baby hate me for doing this?
Yeah. And I'm assuming the answer is no.
Answer?
Absolutely not. I mean, first of all, like my go-to is like, I assure you that your child is not going to be in therapy in 20 years talking about their sleep training experience. Like right. It's just not on the table.
I certainly don't remember mine. So I to your point, right?
Well, I think my parents let me sleep on the floor near their bed for until I moved out. So I don't know. I think that we didn't. I think they could have used some sleep training techniques, aside from me just being a total Klingon, which is what, we're trying to instill in our children. It's you want to instill these good sleep habits, but you also want them to have a strong connection with you. You don't want them to feel abandoned or scared in their room, that sort of thing. When I was looking through your notes, you were saying optimize full feedings. Is this just for babies only, or is this literally your 6-year-old needs to have a full dinner? What do you mean by optimize full feedings?
I mean, I would say usually children under 2, food does play a role. Definitely under 1, it's a huge component.
My husband, I just have to call him out a little bit. So I'm pumping milk all day long for our 3-month-old. Fed her 8 ounces of milk before bed the other night. Anybody who understands how hard it is to get 8 ounces understands that I was where did she really? And he's saying, well, it's going to help her sleep all night. So you're the expert. Does a 3-month-old need 8 ounces of milk before she goes to bed? Does that help her sleep, or is that disruptive?
You know what? I mean, it will help maybe push out a subsequent feed at 3 months. She's still going to wake, whether the feed is 4 ounces or 23 ounces, she's getting up for you at some point. At 4 months, maybe not.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you the question that my husband and I used to argue over when our boys were that small. There were 2 schools of thought in our house over, do you or do you not wake a sleeping baby? And just remember whose podcast you're a guest on.
Oh my God, I feel like I'm breaking up relationships today. Okay. Yes, you do wake them after two and a half hours.
It's been lovely to meet you, and we hope to see you again.
We're talking about naps.
Wait, no,
at
but
night,
I still like
let
you.
that go for a while.
Yeah, right.
I would never wake a baby in the middle of the night to feed if they weren't in need of that type of supplementation. But for naps, if the naps go too long, then you might miss a feed, and that means the baby's going to look for it at night. So there's two ways of answering it. So for night, no, I don't wake them up to feed.
Well,
but naps, yes.
Hopefully my husband is not listening to this episode.
No, I'm on Team Doug with this.
Really?
I love a regimen.
Well,
I love a regimented schedule.
Listen, every time we hear about this topic, we hear that is the key, like schedules and regimen and all of that. And you have to be consistent, and you have to be, proactive in terms of saying this is what it's going to be and stick to it. I imagine that's one of the most crucial parts here.
Yeah, it's 80-20 though, because the reality is like 20% of the time, like you'll be on vacation, you'll be other places, and there needs to be flexibility. But there's a way to be flexible with keeping things together with sleep.
And I think some of what we wonder about is it's like that, are they going to be, it used to be, you'd say like, are they going to be talking to Oprah about me in 20 years because I did this sleep routine? I don't know who the modern day version of that is, but are they going to be complaining about it? So we want them to have comfort in their beds. So many things have changed over the years in terms of like what you can have for comfort and what you can use to soothe them. What do you have to say about like comfort items or measures?
Okay, so we go by actual guideline, like from a safety standpoint. Okay. After a year, child can have like a stuffy or a lovey or something in the crib, for sure. Anytime before that, it's considered premature, and it could be a risk. I'm a huge fan of children connecting with like loveys or other type of sleep items, because to your point, you want them to be comfy and cozy, and you want them to have a good connection, and that's going to help them get there. It's just about whether or not you introduce it too soon. So
after a year.
Anytime from a year on, like you can introduce whatever you want.
What do you think about a Webinub? You know what I'm talking about? The pacifier that has the animal hanging off the edge?
That's a little bit different, because it's really that little Webinub thing is just, yeah, you can use that now. It's a little bit different, right? Because it's anchoring the pacifier. Most people will take off the stuffy at night, but during the day, like you're constantly like checking the monitor. Yeah. And it's not really a huge issue.
Okay. So when our kids were tiny, and honestly, they still do now, and I'm worried that I'm raising children who are going to go to college and their roommates are going to hate them because they need a sleep machine and a sound.
No, they can room with Brighton. It's fine.
I mean, we early on, introduced, it was like a tranquil turtle or sea lion or whatever the heck it was.
The tranquil turtle is a hit.
Right. And it worked. And I will say what was key for us and still is now is that there was first of all, let's start with this. What is it that's doing? I mean, it seemed to have worked. Is it because they've been living in a space where there is always sound when they're in utero and they just need something?
It's definitely really loud inside a woman's body it's very loud. So introducing a sound machine early on gives them that comforting feel. It doesn't need to be blaring. I know a lot of people say it has to be super loud to block out all the noise around. That's not really the purpose. So generally, kids just sort of focus in on a sound, and it helps create a protected sleep environment. So the tranquil turtle, that's like a perfect example of something that will have continuous sound. That also has lights. I'm actually more concerned about the fact that you're worried that your college-age children eventually are going to bring the tranquil turtle with them, which I think that is something we need to explore. But sound machines,
we've graduated. We've graduated. We've graduated from the tranquil turtle, and now we do it like Alexa play sleep sounds kind of situation. But I will say the thing that I loved about the tranquil turtle is, because there was it's kind of low tech, right? I mean, it's sound and light. There's no Bluetooth. There's no connectivity. So we could be like in the car on a road trip and still use it in the same way without worrying about like, oh God, do I have to access the internet to, now we do with Alexa. So I was a big fan of that part of it.
It's still popular, but like a tranquil turtle or whale, they have lots of animals. Those are also like comfort items.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about like a straight sound machine, so many people use those, including yours truly, who only started a couple years ago, and now I travel with it everywhere.
Yeah. Talk to me about so we talk about, okay, you've got to have this kind of disciplined schedule, but there's also really the importance of routine, like establishing hey, this is what going to bed feels like. And we kind of are setting ourselves up for success by knowing that, like, okay, first we do this, then we do this. And obviously the ultimate last step is you're tucked in and you're going to sleep. So what are some of those things that we should be doing?
So routine is really important to children. Even like our young babies, they understand a pattern very quickly. So when we talk about babies under a year, we're usually looking at things like feeding and then bathing and diapering, PJs, stories, songs, and maybe a little bit of soothing before they go in and they get into their cribs. When we talk about older children, we are definitely having more FaceTime with them. There's more story time. There's more talking about things. One of the products I really love right now is the Cloud Box. So you can create like a connected moment with your child and listen to stories together and have it project on the wall. So you're having that nice little moment in bed, cuddling together and doing something that's helped winding them down. One of my favorite features is, and I know you guys probably do travel a fair amount, is like you can record your own story in your own voice.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
Have you seen this thing?
No.
Okay, so what is it
doing?
It's behind me.
Right.
It's that cool. It's like cool.
Right.
Oh, it's so
this is the same
precious.
company that did the turtle, right?
It is. And I'm obsessed with this one because I think so many parents worry like, oh my God, if I'm not there to do the routine, is my kid going to sleep? And the big thing about routines is don't make it so complex that someone else in your life can't replicate it.
So the thing that I love, have you seen this thing? We actually just featured it on
I'm looking it up right now.
So it actually looks like a little boom box almost, and it's got a little cloud on top. I think it's in English and in French. Am I remembering correctly?
And I think,
like
it is. And I think
multi-level.
Oh, fantastic.
And it's got like 9 different characters, and they all have these really sweet little personalities, and it tells you stories, and it projects like animation of the story on the ceiling, and you can record your own stuff on it. Again,
it's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
If we didn't record enough of our own product and content during the day, we can record stuff for our children.
Just in case they need a little more.
What I'm loving about this too is that sometimes you are just truly so exhausted by the time you get to bedtime, but you want to have that nurturing moment with your children. So you can, it sounds like, if I'm understanding correctly, you can kind of lay there and listen to it with them.
Well, and it's screen free as well.
Yeah, so you're getting
there's no
away.
screen.
That's awesome.
I don't have time to read 100-page books all the time at bedtime. Sometimes I'm like, go to bed. But I can turn something on now. And like you said, Jenny, like hang out with them.
Yeah, just to hang out. But sometimes you need to mellow out too. I mean, Steve knows our bedtime routine is
robust.
It is robust. It's way too much. I need help like siphoning it down because it is we're talking stretches, prayers, calling grandma and grandpa, chapter book, also simple board book, now reading to baby sister. Then, now we want to look something up. If she has a question during the day and I'm like driving or something, I'll say, save that for bedtime. We'll look it up. If it's like, how long could a fingernail grow if you didn't cut it or just things like that. So then we look up questions, but maybe what we need is just this one little thing to tell her a story.
And call it a night.
Call it a night.
Yeah, you want to rein it in to 30 to 40 minutes. When you're dealing with like a newborn, your routine could be up to an hour because feeding can take so long.
Yeah,
but
especially when
otherwise,
we're feeding a day's worth of milk.
Yeah, 8 ounces, man, that's a lot. That is a good eater, in my opinion.
Gosh, I'm like, did it all get spit up overnight? I do not know. She did sleep that night.
She did.
It could have been a fluke, but it sounds like establishing that routine. And then is this routine something that even, kids that are 7, 8, 9, 10 years old are doing as well in terms of sleep habits?
You're amending it, obviously, but yeah, the routine is there. I mean, I have a 9-year-old. He does his own bathing and showering now, but he still wants to be tucked in and he still wants me to chat with him about his day. So we're done with the stories, but we've moved on to a different type of connected moment.
Which I love, that conversation. And not to harp on this cloud box thing, but I will say it's also purposefully designed for kids, I think up to like 8 or 10 years old. So it's not like for babies at all. Yeah, which is kind of cool because it kind of grows grows with them. Okay, so here's
not quite college, but like grows with them.
No, the tranquil whale is for college.
Is there like a sleepy sheep or something?
Yeah, maybe like the tranquil longhorn or something.
Okay, so one of our oldest son, our youngest son, which was so sweet, like would not fall asleep unless he was holding your hand, which I was all for. Okay, so but our oldest son, I remember when he was little and he just transferred to a big boy bed, and I would tuck him in and like sit there, and he would want you sitting there until he fell asleep. And you would like ninja, like army crawl out of the room and then hit that one squeak, and then he'd be up and you'd be like, crap. And you got to go all the way back and wait for fall. How do you, and he kind of does a different version of this now where I tuck him in and I give him a kiss and a hug goodnight, and he doesn't discharge the hug. I don't want to pull
it's
away.
A full embrace.
Well, and it's long, and I love it, and I know that one day he won't do it anymore. But I'm also like, okay, I've been up since 3:00 in the morning at work, and
you too need to go to bed.
I too need to go to bed, and I'll say to him, "Hey, buddy, I don't want to pull away from you, so I don't ever want to pull away from you." So I know, but I also don't want to sleep in your bunk bed. So,
come on.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like you have to sort of put up age appropriate boundaries. Like you have to be like, it's 3 stories, it's 1 cuddle. And then after the cuddle, like I need to go to sleep or I need to take a shower. How old are they now?
He's 28. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, perfect. So that was very appropriate to me, for sure.
He's just turned 7.
It's hard. Like my 9-year-old fights it, right? Like when I'm like, okay, cuddling's over. He's like, come on, another cuddle. I'm like, no, I love you so much. I'm going to go shower. I always say this, like, I'm going to go shower, do a few things. Before I go to bed, I'm going to come in. And if you still happen to be up, I will give you another kiss and hug. He's never up.
Nice.
But
that's sweet.
He likes knowing that I'm coming back. And I do go back.
Yeah. I do. So I'm working overnights at the moment doing very early news programs. And every morning I go in and I give them a little kiss before I leave for work. Who knows if they know, but
do they ask for photo proof? That's what Brighton will do. She'll be like, I didn't see you. I want to see. And so now I have to it's so weird.
You take a selfie of yourself.
Because she'll ask later for proof.
Just put a Ring camera right at her door and she can review the footage in the morning.
That's true.
Oh my.
Yeah, she asked for proof. Like, no I didn't see you.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'll show her like the blurry no flash photo. And be like,
I love that you're succumbing to her, like kowtowing to her.
No, see, that's the thing. That's the problem. It's a kowtow. And so now we're dealing with a situation where sometimes she's scared at night. And this is a newer development because she'd been pretty great on this schedule. Now we do have a new baby. So I know that there's like a shifting dynamic too, but where she's like, I'm waking up scared. I'm scared. What do you do when the kids say that they're scared?
So one is I try to get to the root of things. So when I get a child who was previously sleeping through and now they're waking up and they're stimulated and they're indicating they're scared.
Yeah.
One is like, make sure they're not going to bed too late, because an overtired child, if they stall their bedtime, they get overtired, they will wake. Also screens. Like I'm a huge screen time family. You're not going to hear me being anti anything, but for like little kids who have very vivid imaginations, I cut it off an hour before bed. So I would start there.
Okay.
Now, when they wake at night, are they truly scared, or is it a tactic to get FaceTime with you?
My husband says that she's totally manipulating me and he doesn't 100%. Believe it at all. But I'm also going to.
She's very convincing though.
She's very convincing. We did just, so what I used to say, if she was scared, we had a dog who would sleep outside her room. And unfortunately that dog passed away super suddenly. And so I can't say, I used to say, Charlie's right outside your door. You know that he will let us know if anything happens. Like I'll remind her, we have the alarm set. We have every form of self-defense in the house. We've got sensors all around the house. And most importantly, I would say you have Charlie. And I never imagined in a million years that she wouldn't have Charlie during this potential phase of being scared. And now it's like, Charlie's gone and I'm not really sure how to decipher. But don't you think
that also like that paired with she now has to share your attention that she's had solo for 6 years with a newborn. So the best way to make sure she has your attention is to say, well, I'm scared and I need you.
So she is manipulating.
100%. I'm buying you a puppy.
I mean, a little.
Okay, we should probably ask the expert.
You're getting a new dog. That's what I'm hearing here.
I kind of think so. I kind of think so.
You're getting a dog.
I think so. Like a really ferocious one. That's well trained.
So she can be scared of that too. That feels like a great idea.
No, to tell the potential assailants, to scare them away.
Oh my God. Whatever she's watching or like there's something creating those thoughts. Is she watching things like PJ Masks or any of those superhero shows?
No, we're like not, we're kind of like Amish when it comes to screen time and such,
cool.
But there is a book series. It's not Magic School Bus. It's some sort of other magic. There's some magic in it. And it was like a second or third grade level. And finally we talked to the teacher and said, this is not like it is. It's creating some illusions in her mind. And then I think she gets more creative with it. So maybe just some simpler books before bed.
The magic beheading.
Think so.
It was the magic beheading.
I mean, a big thing here is
these books.
Yeah. A big thing here, like when they're expressing fears is like, you want to validate it to a certain extent, and then you want to talk about it and then move past it.
Yeah.
Like for a perfect example is when kids say like, I'm scared of monsters. And like all these people are saying, well, get monster spray and spray their rooms. All you're saying is like the monsters are there, but you can't see them right now. So you just have to be really careful about like making anything super real.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
We do that with we're a 2-dad family. So we're always, and we also used to have a dog, and we'd be like, listen, you have 2 daddies, and the only thing that monsters are afraid of are daddies, and you have 2 of them. So there's not going to be any monsters in here. So maybe your husband needs a gay lover.
I know, or maybe he needs to come in and like do the
daddy.
Scared thing.
Monsters
her
don't like
other
daddies.
favorite thing is to wait. This has nothing to do with this conversation, but I just need to share it. Is that she'll like come over and wake me up, and then I'll be like, Brighton, what is it? And she'll go, shh, don't wake daddy up. Really? Like, you're going to come over and wake me up and then tell me to be quiet so that we don't collectively wake daddy up?
Like that's a kid who wants to spend time with you and is kind of adjusting to this new normal.
No, for sure. Yeah. And I want to too. That's the problem. Is that I want to too, but I also know she needs sleep.
Well, you should start waking her up for that 3 a.m. feeding and see how long that lasts.
Sometimes she'll come out and pump with me too. Like when I'm pumping, she'll like hear like the pump and come out and be like, "Hey, I'm scared," and I'm like, "Oh, geez, I can't get up. I'm like attached to the wall. I'm like, okay, come on over here and watch Real Housewives of Potomac."
Oh, which maybe why she's
that could be that is.
I was going to say now she's really going to have that.
That is scary.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Where can people turn? So if people want to kind of interact more with you, learn more about you, kind of absorb more of this great information that you're giving us, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Andrea with an I sleep. One word. I pretty much do a Q&A every second week. I'm doing one actually tomorrow, and I answer a ton of questions, or my website, havebabymustsleep.com.
I love it. And I love the name. Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful guest. This is really great information. Jenny and I also joke that, while we pretend that this podcast is all about being of service for the greater good, it's really just us getting people on to answer the stuff that we need help with. So you've done
Are you going to be my 2 new followers dropping in the Q&A yesterday?
I'm already.
For sure.
Definitely.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for being
having me.
We appreciate you.
She was awesome.
Bye, guys.
Bye. It's Magic Treehouse, by the way. Has Jacob read those? Magic Treehouse?
No. What he's into right now is these like who would win, like alligator versus like cow, like who would win?
I don't know about
shark
those.
versus whale. Like they're very like And then he also like Captain Underpants. He likes.
Okay.
We have boys.
Yeah, well, you know.
And then there's another one like dog something or another. I should probably know what he's reading.
No, he's not reading Cutie Corns.
No, we're not reading Cutie Corns. Is that?
That's the one we switched to
instead
from
of the magic beheading
No, but
tree.
I think that Jacob would actually like the Magic Tree House. That's why I brought it up. I was like,
Probably.
I feel like he would like it, but maybe it's more of a daytime read, unless he's not prone to being scared because he has 2 daddies and poor Brighton only has 1. Poor thing.
What kind of dog are you going to get?
Oh my gosh.
Heath would totally be into you getting a dog.
No.
Oh, is he not?
No, he's actually, it was so traumatizing. I think it was just so hard and just really, he was there with Charlie, like as he took his last breath. So I think, and just not able to make it to the hospital for the surgery. It was just super traumatic and emergent and unexpected. And he had never been through that because growing up in the country, they would have dogs, that were around, right?
They would just go away and not come back.
Precisely. Whereas I had been through having the family dog, losing the family dog, grieving that, and then getting another dog later. And so I think for him, it's just like, this was just too much. And
I'm not suggesting that any of you didn't love Charlie, because I know you did, but like, don't you also secretly feel like the glorious freedom of not having a dog? Oh gosh, that's just me.
No, that's just like not at all.
Really?
Like, I mean, I would say, okay,
he was part of your 6-hour bedtime routine, though, where you would take your walks with him.
Yeah, we took the walk, and now I like can't even bring myself to. I haven't. We've gone for a couple walks, and it feels so weird
without him
because it was just such a part of our routine. Not to bring the conversation down, but
say,
like
this is really taking a turn.
Well, look, this is real life, but yeah, it just feels like it was such a part of the routine. The one good thing is that I guess like when I'm changing Gemma's diaper or something, if I'm like doing it in the bathroom, I don't have to worry about him coming over and like grabbing it.
Right.
Or so
like
there's that.
Boarding him when you travel, or did you not do that?
Well, he had like a...
Don't even tell me he had someone come to your house
nanny.
and stay with them. Oh, God.
Shout out to Heather.
No wonder why you don't mind having a dog.
Yeah. I mean...
So neither of you were VP dog.
Well, no, I mean...
Heather was, apparently.
Heather was VP dog. I mean, Heath was really more VP dog in terms of like taking him to the vet, giving him his heartworm medication, all that kind of stuff, like buying his food. And then Brighton fed him, and I walked him, and Heath walked him, and Heather.
He was also small. We had big dogs, and
That's
which are
true.
like our Weimaraners, and they're 60-pound dog.
They shed.
Weimaraners?
Yeah,
no,
they don't.
That's
okay, well then what
are
you complaining about?
My floors. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. That's a topic for another day. We got to get it wrapped up. We ran a little bit over. But hey, our thanks to our guest today, and our thanks to you for listening. Remember, you can listen to a new episode every Tuesday morning about 7 o'clock, wherever podcasts are available. We will invite you to click like and subscribe so we can keep doing what we love. If you do nothing else today, go find yourself a friend you don't need to clean the house for. Take care.